Today, we have connected professionals. We have lawyers who are deposing witnesses by video conference, thereby saving themselves 3-hour one-way trips to Edmonton. The Business Link is offering local entrepreneurs training classes with lecturers from around the province working with folks during their lunch hours. We have Alberta and others like them, as I said earlier, selling their log inventory controlled around the world. And we also have town council meetings that are broadcast on the internet utilizing broadband technology, which not only connects seniors and stay-at-home folks in the community directly to council meetings and the decisions, it also keeps connected those folks that choose to leave our community for various reasons, whether it's to go to school, or whether it's to attend health service in other communities, or simply to relocate for jobs. We have remote monitoring of our water system controls, so that we can control the amount of water that's flowing to services throughout our community by remote access. And we also, at one time, brought in a lady named Dr. Laura Duxbury from Carleton University, who lectured our staff on hiring practices in the 21st century, so that our people could understand what it took to hire new workers in today's environment, and most importantly, keep them engaged in your enterprise during today's new world economy and new world hiring practices. Most importantly, or as importantly I should suggest, is of course the travel costs living in remote rural Alberta, where your nearest big center is City of Edmonton, over 3 hours away. Our travel costs have been reduced for the professionals in our community and the businesses, and more professional services are available in our community as a result of being connected. Hinton understood early on that healthcare is economic development. And again, if you could choose to live anywhere in the world that you wish, there's a couple of key things that you're going to need if you're going to choose to locate into a specific community. We understand early on that you need to work, and often you'll relocate because of the need to work. You need good education opportunities, you need good healthcare opportunities, and you need something to do when you're done work. Those 4 pillars are the basis of economic development for our community, and I would suggest for most communities in Alberta. So, we worked with our hospitals as an early adapter to bring in telehealth and a video conference suite in the hospital. This allowed, of course, our healthcare providers to engage with their peers through remote access, but also allowed such things as mental health services to directly consult and work with some of the patients that couldn't have the ability to travel to remote locations such as Edmonton and interact in a very direct way without leaving our community. It allowed our nurses to stay on top of their education and allowed the doctors to stay in touch with newly developed technologies and techniques. This also led to us bringing in a CT scan to Hinton as one of the first rural communities in Alberta to get the technology that allowed us to get a CT scan, which also led to us retaining 2 surgeons in our hospital. At the time, we had 1 surgeon who was needing some support mechanisms. We were able to fundraise locally, get a CT scan, and as a result, we were able to keep our surgeon occupied and keep our surgeon in our community. And of course, that technology is key to training nurses in Hinton. We also now have what I believe is a strongly connected community. And the connected community, of course, is about not only the face-to-face connection, which is paramount to a successful community, but also our kids are able to stay connected through new technologies such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and various social networking sites. But also, a few weeks ago, a grandmother in Nova Scotia saw her 3-day-old baby granddaughter without having to travel to Hinton. People are finding ways to stay connected, not only within the community, but without the community. And we're connected to the world through our homes, our businesses, our libraries, our hospitals, and our cafes. A connected community for Hinton means many different things. In Hinton, for example, we now have video security that feeds live security feeds directly to the police. And they're movement-activated cameras that record this movement for potential prosecutions moving into the future. We have 2 video suites in each of the schools, like I indicated earlier on, and from what I understand, the kids are good with it and understand what's expected of them as they take some of these smaller class size learning opportunities in the individual schools. We were able to share our bylaws with the newly incorporated municipality of Jasper, where this emerging community was putting in place the foundational framework to build their new community. and we were able to work very directly with them through video conferencing and online collaboration that allowed us to put our team in touch with them on a moment's notice as they develop their bylaws and their infrastructure for their new town. We have 5 video conference suites, as I said, and one of the most exciting things that we have as a result of broadband internet access is the online library services that are available through our public library here, including the ability to check out books, get notices when they're coming due, and ensure that we can bring a lot more books into our community than we could otherwise afford to bring in simply by buying books in our library. We were able to get a Canadian Tire to locate into our community because the technology available through broadband allowed them just-in-time ordering opportunities so that when a customer needed a particular thing that was advertised in a flyer or that they'd seen on television, they could immediately order it and have it available in the community within a matter of days. And of course, our town council uses laptops, and our meetings are all broadcast on the internet. Final pieces of advice for those that are looking to moving to broadband communities: you must think long-term. You must think about where the technology could go, and don't be afraid to put in a robust internet system and a robust system to support you moving to the future as best you can. One of our lessons was that you need to invest in the most cutting-edge technology that you can afford. Do your homework and build for the future. And don't think small. Dream big and work hard, and bring your community along with you by engaging them in the process. You need to be strategic. You have to understand how does it all fit, but as I said at the beginning, don't believe that you've got the only answer. Put the pieces in place that allows you to bring the technology into play, understand where it fits, how it fits, and engage people in understanding how it will all come together. You have to keep in mind what happens when elected officials change office.
You know how that goes, right?
Somebody has their mute button off, and so we're listening to their conversation. You have to understand what happens when elected officials change office and ensure that you've got a system that will go beyond the short-term thinking of most politicians. You need to understand who will benefit, how they'll benefit, why they'll benefit, and when they can benefit. Which means being strategic is about putting together a business case and a business plan that develops the future of your community by engaging folks in the process and in the experience. Don't be afraid to set the bar high. Politicians like to set the bar low. Politicians like to set the bar low. That way when they achieve it, they can say, hey, look at me, look at what we've done, look what we've accomplished, look at these wonderful services, re-elect me. The challenge is to set the bar high, because it's in the striving to achieve the bar, it's the striving to achieve your future that really the growth happens. And if you never get to where you're planning to be in your first term in office, if you never get to where you're planning to be during our working lives, that's okay. Because it's as we engage in the process that the progress is made and that our communities start to embrace the future. And finally, what does the future look like for Hinton? The question is, where do we go from here? I can tell you that Hinton is already engaged in bringing post-secondary education opportunities to town through the Campus Alberta framework. We understand the Yellowhead Regional Educational Consortium and outreach post-secondary opportunities are really based on broadband access and networking. We are recently embarked on bringing a regional creative campus for the arts that will network through the internet and broadband technology for the cultural component that is so often missing in rural Alberta, especially on a regional basis. And part of the thinking is how do we get those creative types out of their lofts and their garrets, their basements and their garages, and help them connect with each other and learn what's really going on creatively and culturally within our community. International business is investing in our community and delivering much better initial proposals because of their ability to access our map data and understand our community without actually coming to our community through our internet services provided through the town of Hinton. And finally, I'd just like to leave you with this final thought. Yogi Berra once said that you can observe by just looking around.